Are you a family caregiver caring for a loved one in your home? Are you exhausted, worn out, and at the end of your rope? Do you feel like giving up? If you desperately need answers and direction on how to take care of your loved one, you need Caregiving Tips A to Z. This highly informative book by Starr Calo-oy has been written in a down-to-earth manner rather than in technical language. How does she know what you need to know? Because Starr and her husband Bob took care of the elderly in their home for 18 years, 24/7, 365 days a year. They've been through the sleepless nights, behavioral problems people with dementia have, and trying to get the elderly to eat. They have been through it all, and now they want to share the hands-on tips they've discovered over the years with you. Call Starr now for your copy of Caregiving Tips A to Z and start living again. Call 521-8668. That's 521-8668 and talk to Starr. Remember, you're not alone anymore. Call 521-8668. That's 521-8668.
Here to help us tackle those challenges is our caregiving expert, 101, Caregiving 101 expert, Starr Calo-oy. Welcome back, Starr.
Good to see you.
A new year and a new beginning.
That's
and a
right.
fresh approach. I love the idea of personal care homes. First of all, just define, if you can, for us what a personal care home is. What do you mean by that?
Well, Bob and I took care of the elderly, terminally ill, and Alzheimer patients, Bridget, in our own home, a personal home, for almost 20 years.
Wow.
24/7, 365.
So this is for the person who may not opt for the
Nursing home.
The nursing home.
Or any other kind of standard facility.
Yeah, and it's doable, yes?
Absolutely.
But you've got to start with a vision. You talk about the vision. What is it?
That's right. Well, first of all, to begin with, many people think you need to be licensed in order to have a personal care home.
Is that not the case?
And you don't.
Okay.
If you take care of 3 or less in the state of Texas, then you do not need a license. And that's because of the fire codes. They just want to make sure you're able to get out that number of people in case of fire. But for 3 or under, you can take care of them unless it's a relative. If you have 3 people that are not related to you, you can also take care of up to 3 others that are related.
I did not know that. Okay, some of the things you want to keep in mind if this is something you want to tackle.
Okay, if you want to do that, well, first of all, we do counseling. We help people get started with their personal care home. But you're going to want to have enough space for them. You're going to want to make sure that you've made it comfortable for them. You're going to want to visit some other support groups. Maybe someone, for example, if your loved one has Alzheimer's disease, visit some support groups with Alzheimer's, and you might be able to visit with other families who don't want to take care of their loved one, but they don't want to put them in a nursing home.
Right.
So they would be a good candidate for care in your own home.
And isn't it true, Starr, a lot of people, caregiving often happens when you least expect it. Maybe you're a granddaughter or a daughter who's working and trying to manage a full-time. You may not always have the monies readily available to go to a nursing home facility. That's why that's a good idea.
That's right.
Privacy is important.
Yes, it is. Well, actually, you have, let's say that it's your mom, okay, Bridget? You want your mother in a personal care home rather than a larger facility, because you can visit with her privately a lot easier. You don't have to worry about a semi-private room in many cases. You also, if it gets toward the end of life, you don't have to worry about everyone shooing you out because of visiting hours. You can, I mean, we used to serve pancake breakfast the next morning to everybody. Make it real personal. And also, there's one consistent caregiver. And that brings up a very important point. You want to make sure that the person that handles the home is the one with the vision, the person that actually owns the home, instead of her buying a home and then hiring someone else to manage it while she lives someplace else. Because then the vision isn't there, and it's just a job for that person.
And don't you have a situation too where, Starr, where a person who's disabled or ill, they sense chaos if that's going on? Yes, they do.
Yes, and it can cause their own behaviors to escalate.
To be erratic.
Especially with someone with dementia.
Yeah.
Same thing. But there are many, many pluses to having your loved one in a personal care home as opposed to more medical facilities. facility, and that is, you know, hospice can still come in, you can still have home health care come in, but there's consistency of care. That one person, you know, that even if the others quit, and there's a big turnover in this business, that you'll have one person that's always there, and that way your mom or your dad is not feeling confused constantly because of the turnover, see?
I've seen it work in many homes. One of the things I think is key is atmosphere, the surroundings that you provide your loved one with.
And feeding.
Yeah.
Many places will just bring a tray in and leave it there. But in a personal care home, they'll sit there and feed your loved one, just like it was yourself. So on our website, people can find a checklist for being able to decide whether a personal care home is good or not.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of them that are bad out there too. But we had an excellent one, and there are many, many, many others that are good here in San Antonio.
The thing about caregiving is once the day ends, that doesn't mean caregiving ends. It usually continues throughout the night, the next day. It's never ending. One of the most important things you talk about is nighttime rituals.
Yes, that's right. Make sure that they get up at night to check on everybody several times a night, that there are night lights spaced evenly in case your loved one is ambulatory so that they don't stumble and fall. Make sure that the person that is taking care of your loved one has the DNR posted in their room so that if anything were to happen and an ambulance were to come, that your loved one's wishes will be adhered to. You want to make sure that you've got you know, safety bars in the bathroom, because it'll be a smaller bathroom. Maybe an escalated toilet seat. So there's many, many different things, and they're all covered in our books.
Yes, and one of the things I think you try to stress to people is don't be afraid of tackling this, because always caregiving is a challenge if you don't do it professionally.
Well, think about yourself. Would you be reluctant to take care of your own mother?
Right, right.
This is like taking care of your own loved ones.
Right.
So that's why you want to embrace it like that. You need to find someone that will bond with you, and you need to spend some time with that person before you hire them to take care of your loved one.
Right, and especially if you're in a situation where someone's at the end of the road, that time is so important, isn't it? Well, you all are talking about all of this and more in your books, Caregiving Tips A to Z, and Caregiving 101 with Starr and Bob Calo-oy is where you can ask all the questions that you have. There are tips on KKYX 680 AM on Saturday mornings from 9 to 10 on Caregiving 101, and Starr and Bob are even talking about Marriage 101 from 10 to 11. So if you have a question about caregiving or marriage, here's their number, 210-521-8668, and their website, www.caregiversadvice.net. She is our caregiving guru.